Hello everyone. It's me, Arden Lee. I am back today with another video, and today's video is giving you 3 ways to nourish your soul when you are feeling exhausted. So this particular query came from a member of my Facebook group, the Repatterning Parlor, who says that they have recently rebuilt their lives and oh my God, same, first of all, and that they're feeling pretty exhausted by it and that they're looking for ways to really nourish and feed their soul. So I'm going to get into my top 3 suggestions because, oh my gosh, I've so been there, still there, but working on it, getting better and better every day. So, all right, before I dive into that topic, if you're not yet familiar with me and my work, my name is Arden Lee, and I am the creator of the Repatterning Project. That is an 8-week course where we examine our patterns, we hack our beliefs, and we start using intentional language and examining the everyday decisions and habits that we're making so that we can remove the obstacles that are on our pathway to success, happiness, and fulfillment. So if that sounds like something you're into, first of all, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel, stay updated, let's stay connected. And second of all, if you look in the description box, you're going to find a link to a free PDF download where you can learn a little bit more about what we do in the Repatterning Project as a course, and you can see if it's right for you, if it's something that's calling to you. And also there is a link in the description box to the Facebook group I mentioned that is called the Repatterning Parlor. And that's a group that I moderate of like-minded individuals who are coming together to all support each other on their pathways to success and personal growth and self-improvement. So it's great to have that social support. So go ahead and click through and join that if it sounds like something that you're into. And hopefully I will see you there. I would love for you to introduce yourself. Let me know where you found me. All right, so let's get into a couple of ways to start nourishing and feeding your soul. If you've been, as this person said, they've rebuilt their life recently and they feel exhausted, right? And I don't blame you because first of all, congratulations on rebuilding your life, because taking action steps toward the life that you want is how we get to that place where we're living the life that we want, right? We have to take action for anything to change. I've certainly been through that myself, especially within the past 3 years. It's been by far the most transformative 3 years of my entire life. It feels like, wow, like what a wake-up call, right? And I really think that we're also going through this on a mass level in society. You know, not everyone is riding that wave because, of course, at the end of the day, we all have free will. But we're incredibly supported right now for things to come up, to be purged, to be detoxed, for us to really examine what's working for us and what's not. I like to think that the advent of social media contributes to this a lot, because all of a sudden we have this sort of equitable platform for everyone to have a voice. And so more and more grievances are being aired. And the more and more grievances that are being aired and people are coming together to share that, the more that we galvanize our societies for change, right? The more activism can happen, and the more change gets through. Like when you think about like when we used to just have like print newspapers, oh my God, how do we get anything done, you guys? I can't even imagine. So this time has been really particularly fertile for those who really want to make lasting changes in their lives, because there's so many opportunities to examine what's working for us and what's not working for us, and to start creating better habits. So that's also why I've started doing the work that I'm doing now, because it really feels like the most important thing to be doing at this junction in history. So first of all, congratulations, because it's amazing that you're taking action on that, and absolutely you will get results out of that. However, it is exhausting. I totally feel you on that. I feel like I've been tired since July. You know, is something that I've said recently. But amazingly, in the last couple days, I've actually started to feel rejuvenated again. I feel energized again, and you know, I have a feeling that has something to do with the cosmological weather, you know, but depending on how woo you are, I don't know if you necessarily subscribe to that or not, but I have a feeling that we're getting to a point where things are going to start getting a little easier and being more energized. So hopefully that's true for you all as well. But regardless, I do have 3 tips for how to start nourishing your soul, how to start feeding your soul, and so you can start feeling a little better. The first thing that I'm going to give as a tip is actually kind of counterintuitive, and that is to have a morning routine. Now, you might be saying to me, Arden, if I'm already exhausted, why do I want to get up in the morning and have more of a morning routine? But the irony of it is that waking up and deciding not to hit the snooze button, but rather to get up and immediately plunge ourselves into that state where we can immediately start taking action on our lives is actually going to give us more energy. Because starting our day off by hitting snooze and sleeping in, first of all, it disrupts our sleep cycle because, as we're continuing to hit snooze again and again, we start like falling asleep and waking up and falling asleep and waking up. And that pattern will actually make us more groggy throughout the day than we need to be. So a great way, if you're someone who like keeps hitting snooze all the time, a great way to make sure that you're actually getting up in the morning is to put your alarm clock on the other side of the room, and put your alarm clock, maybe even in your bathroom if you can still hear it from there, because then by the time you get to your alarm clock to turn it off, you can be right by the sink, splash some nice cool water on your face and be like, oh my God, I'm awake, look in the mirror and be like, all right, yes, I am ready to start my day. And, ultimately you really have to want it enough, for sure. It's one of those things that I've been thinking about doing for a while that I'm just starting to implement for myself now, and it's already making a change for me. It's already resulting in my having more energy and my feeling more motivated and feeling more capable about, going about my life. So that's actually that might not feel like it really nourishes your soul, but what it will do is it will keep you from feeling so exhausted all the time, because you'll be getting up, you'll be stopping that cycle where you feel groggy, where you keep going back to sleep. You'll be getting up, you'll be starting the day off refreshed and motivated. And equally important is finding time at the beginning of your morning to do some things that are just for you, starting the day off on the right foot. So whether that's meditation, whether it's affirmations, whether it's, morning pages. Some people love to just write stream of consciousness in the morning, whether it's exercise, whether it's yoga, whether it's breathing exercises, as long as you're not doing them in bed still, right? Whatever it is, it's going to start your day off on the right foot, and you're taking time for yourself. That's the first thing you're doing at the start of your day, is actually taking time for yourself to start feeling better. You start your day by doing something immediately that puts you in that state where you start to feel better, and taking that time for yourself. So absolutely, having a morning routine might kind of sound annoying at first, but I guarantee if you start doing it, that the whole energy of your day is going to change drastically. So give it a shot and let me know how it works for you. The second thing I would advise is to really listen to your body. And when I say listen to your body and what it's longing for, what it's craving, what I also mean is listen to your daydreams, listen to the things that you're really feeling called to, the things that, you're imagining or fantasizing about. And maybe you feel that, oh, that's on the other side of like after I've rebuilt my life, after everything is all in place. And I understand that, because certainly when we are working on building our lives, and redoing everything that we've become accustomed to, certainly it's great to have that diligence so that we can set up something that is sustainable for us. We don't want to lose our momentum by deciding, halfway into something that we're just going to like take a vacation and peace out or whatever. So I understand that impulse. And yet, at the same time, remember that your life doesn't start tomorrow. At what point can you start saying, this is my life right now, and how can I feed my soul? How can I give my body and my mind the things that I'm daydreaming about, that I'm fantasizing about, that I'm wanting for myself right now, in a way that still sustains that momentum of the way that I'm living my life, for example. So for me, for example, like I just, I realized recently, I was like, wow, if I'm feeling like I really want more like travel and more connection, what's amazing is that, I can actually do the majority of my work from anywhere where there's Wi-Fi, right? Anywhere that, I can make my videos, that I can speak with my clients on phone or Skype, that I can teach my courses, for example. Any of those things are great. I could absolutely take a vacation to a friend's house, let's say, I've got friends who live all over the country. I could absolutely fly out and stay with a friend for a week, and all it would cost me is the cost of my plane ticket. And if I'm going to be diligent about it, I can look and I can like scour the airlines and Expedia or whatever and figure out when is going to be most affordable for me to fly. And all of a sudden, that idea of taking a vacation, having travel, and being able to connect with more people in person rather than feeling like I'm just like in my house alone by myself with my cat, like making videos all the time, all of a sudden that doesn't seem so far away to me anymore. I start to realize that I've started to set my life up for something that is conducive to that. So I don't know what your daydreams are or what your body is calling for specifically, but start to think about ways that you can make that work and still sustain the momentum that you're doing to rebuild your life. And the third thing that I'll advise as a tip for how to nourish your soul, and this sounds a little counterintuitive, but start to look at where you're feeling envy, right? Start to look at where you're feeling envy, where you're feeling projection, for example, right? There's so many things that sometimes we disdain or we say like, oh, that's too good to be true, or she must be a spoiled brat who's rich that she's able to afford XYZ or whatever. Start to look at those things and say, what about that is something that I secretly want for myself that I maybe have a limiting belief around that is not accessible to me, right? So I'll give an example. Like for me, I was able to transmute my envy into admiration pretty quickly because I'm pretty aware of how this stuff works. But I was following someone on Instagram who was posting all these pictures of her trip from Bali. And it would have been so easy for, like, there were other people, who I shared it with, online who were getting kind of snarky and being like, just being like, oh, whatever, I'm sure she, like, maybe she has a trust fund, or maybe she's, or like, stupid, spiritual hippies or whatever, and whatever. But for me, I actually really examined the part of me that was like, if I'm feeling any kind of like, like envy or like, wow, I wish I could have that for myself, it's because something about that is calling to me. And there's really no reason to be, there's no reason to be, like, if someone is being snarky about that, then I'm like, your snark is actually a clue that there's something under there that you're not in resonance with, that you're not in alignment with. Because if it just wasn't something that you wanted for yourself, you'd be like, oh, that's great that they're having fun, but that's not where I'd want to go. Like, one of my friends was like, oh, I don't really like warm temperatures. Like, I'd rather go to Alaska. And it's like, okay, cool, right? But you're not going to snark on the person who's like going to a warmer climate, right? If you're looking at something and you're feeling any of that prickliness come up, really examine that. And that's a key to something that your soul might be calling for right now. So how can you bring that closer? How can you start to say like, how can I close the gap between me and what that thing is? And for myself, like, I'm now planning a trip to Bali in March. I haven't actually like looked into the logistics yet, but I applied to teach at Bali Spirit Fest, and I'm stoked. Like I'm like, I don't know, whether they accept me or not. Either I figure either they'll accept me to teach, or somehow or another, like between now and then, I'm gonna like manifest a way to make it work. I'm gonna come up with the funds or whatever. I'm gonna figure out a way, because I know that that's something that my soul is calling for and something that I want to give to myself. So I'm gonna figure out whatever way I need to do to like close that gap and make it work one way or another. So those are the three things that I would advise you to do if you are currently looking to be more nourishing to your soul. So the first one is have a morning routine. You're just going to feel better anyway. Start the day off with, even if it's just 30 minutes of something that nourishes your soul. Just start your day off that way, and it's going to set the whole tone for your day. The second one is, really look to what your body is calling for or what your mind is daydreaming about, and finally look to where you're feeling envy about what others are able to give to themselves, and figure out how you can also give that to yourself in a way that works for you, and in a way that also continues to sustain your momentum with all of the rebuilding that you are doing for yourself. All right, thank you guys so much for listening. I hope this was helpful. I'd love to see you in my group, the Repatterning Parlor, so click through on that link and remember to say hi. All right, I'll see you next time.